Hi there, I'm Jo Fazel, a Menopause Nutrition and Health Coach, and I've recorded this little video for you today with some of my top tips for menopause health on behalf of the lovely Kate Cherry, our Bond consultant, who has put together this fantastic series of videos for menopause health. So thank you, Kate. Now, there's obviously loads of tips that I could give you about menopause health, but today I just wanted to give you a few that kind of give you a good fundamental base upon which to start making some healthy changes. So the number one tip is to keep your blood sugar balanced. Now, this is the first thing that I work with clients on because it has such a big impact on hormonal balance and helping to reduce all those menopausal symptoms. What we really don't want is a big spike and crash of blood sugar, because that sets off a whole cascade of hormonal imbalances. So the way to do this is make sure that you're having protein with every meal and snack. I know it's probably easier to remember to do that with your meals, but do you remember to do that with your snacks? For example, if you are reaching for a nice healthy piece of fruit, remember that that is a carbohydrate that will release glucose into the bloodstream fairly quickly. So you want to slow that down by adding some protein. You also want to look at ditching the white refined versions of grains. So the white bread, white rice and white pasta. Unfortunately, they are digested super quickly and they can spike your blood sugar, as well as having had many of the vitamins and minerals taken out of them. So swap them for the whole grain varieties. Now, I really find that it's easy to keep in the cupboard pouches of microwavable whole grain rice, lentils, quinoa, all those kind of grains, 2 minutes in the microwave, and they're ready. So you don't have to wait around. They don't take a long time to cook. They can be super easy when you're trying to make a healthy family meal in the evening and you don't have a lot of time. And also learning to be a label detective, especially when it comes to sugar. Now, you all know the obvious places where sugar resides, those cakes and biscuits and ice cream and so forth. But do you know about where to find the hidden sugars? There's a lot of hidden sugar in most processed foods. But did you know, especially if you try to choose processed foods that have healthy claims on the label, such as low fat, thinking that you're doing something good for your health, actually, in a lot of those products, when you look at the label, you're going to find it's actually got more sugar in it. And this is because they've taken the fat out, which affects the flavour. So they need to add something in to make it taste nice for you. And what goes in is sugar. So become a label detective and actually figure out if what it's saying on the label is actually going to be good for you or not. Now, the second big tip is to increase your phytoestrogen intake. So phytoestrogens are compounds found in some foods and they act kind of like a weak estrogen. Now, this is good because they can attach to the estrogen receptors we have all over our body. And when we're declining in estrogen, that can be very helpful because then, again, they, like estrogen, can attach to those receptors and help reduce the symptoms. But it's actually really important too when your estrogen is high. For example, in peri-menopause, quite often women can have estrogen dominance because their estrogen levels are fluctuating and can actually reach quite high levels. And in this case, phytoestrogens can attach to the receptors and actually block the extra estrogen from having its reaction, kind of bring it down a step. So you're going to find phytoestrogens in quite high quantities in foods such as soy, so edamame beans and tofu, for example. But my favourite is to have a bag of ground flaxseed and I keep it in the fridge. Now you can get it plain, you can get it with added probiotics, vitamin D, magnesium, all kinds of other goodies in there. And it's so easy to use. 1 or 2 spoonfuls a day. Sprinkle it on food or stir it in, and it doesn't have a strong taste, so you won't know that it's in there. Now, I use it for things like stirring into soups. I can put it in smoothies, put it in your porridge, on your cereal. I like to have it with Greek yogurt. And I also even put it in things like bolognese. So things I make in the evening, big sort of stews or chilies and so forth, no one will ever know that it's in there. Now, my third tip is important for you to really take on board, and that is give yourself permission to be a priority. So too many women tend to feel like they don't have any time to make changes, or they feel really guilty about doing anything for themselves. But here is the thing: if you don't make yourself a priority, nobody else is going to. So we're often so busy and stressed out. In this modern world, we've got so many things to deal with, and that creates this kind of chronic stress level, and that plays havoc with our hormones, which is terrible for us in menopause, makes the symptoms even worse. And it's so important that you take the time to recharge and actually calm your nervous system in order to bring your hormone balance back into line. But you're not going to find the time to do that if everything else is taking priority. So you need to be booking time in your diary, putting it in the calendar and putting it somewhere where everyone can see it. Let your family know what it is that you need and what you're committing to, and remind yourself that this is non-negotiable you time, okay? So those are my sort of top 3 tips for you for menopause health to get you started. I hope you found it helpful. I work with menopausal women in a 12-week one-to-one coaching program called Feel Good for Life, and I will soon also be launching a new group program as well. So if you'd like to learn more about either of those and find out how I can help work with you to soothe your symptoms and help you feel like yourself again, I invite you to book a free call with me to discuss, and we'll put the link in the caption for you so you can easily book that for yourself. So in the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye.